We're watching a very high-class player.
This is when you know everybody is at his best.
Hello, my friends. Thanks for joining me on the 360 live show. It's great to have you all here. Thanks for all the questions. I have been going through some of them. Some interesting stuff we can talk about. There's a lot of cricket happening around the world. There's England and New Zealand as well. I sort of overlooked that and realized, hold on, there's some T20 cricket over there in England as well. South Africa, Australia. As we know, South Africa off to a bit of a slow start in that series. The Aussies are really taking the wind out of their sails. And there's also the Asia Cup. A lot happening. And there's a huge game coming up. We know all about that, and we're going to discuss that one. I'm not even going to mention what the game is, but I'm very much looking forward to all the discussions. Please post your questions in the descriptions box, and let's have a nice chat today. I'm looking forward to all the chats. So before I go on, let's start with AB Reacts. I will be covering a few tweets that I picked up, and then we'll move on to the questions. So AB Reacts for now. I love this. All right, in the first one here, Aditya saying if Mitchell Marsh had remained fit throughout his career, he would have got Ben Stokes type respect by now. Good point. He has been injury prone throughout his career. Mitchell Marsh, what a player. I mean, he's always a very impactful player. In that very first T20 against South Africa, getting a big 90 odd under pressure, I must add. Not in the start. They had a flyer of a start over there at Kingsmead in Durban. But then they lost wickets. I think they were 4 down at one stage before they sort of started rebuilding again. But Mitch Marsh was there all along to make sure they get that big total. Ultimately, too much for South Africa to handle. And I must add to this, South Africa was not far away, even though the score doesn't tell you that. When Aussie were 4 down, you get another wicket or two there, you bowl them out for 130, 140. Small margins in cricket, and unfortunately, South Africa maybe a little bit undercooked coming into this series, but I'm pretty sure they'll bounce back. But it's small margins, and if you miss those small margins, you end up losing. Valid point there, Jitja. Thank you very much. I think Mitch Marsh is one incredible cricket player, huge impact he's had on the Aussie team in all formats. I love that innings he played in test matches over there in the Ashes. That 100 he scored at Headingley, just incredible. And he's obviously handy with the ball as well. I think he's got a very sharp cricket brain. And what a player. Hopefully South Africa can keep him quiet throughout the rest of the series, because it's not too good for us when Mitch Marsh is in good form. Okay, moving on then to the next tweet, or should I say, I don't know what you call them these days, at X, little X. I'm pretty sure we still call them tweets, even though it's not Twitter anymore. But anyway, moving on from that, maybe you guys can help me what we should be calling the comments on X. Harsha, once again, I love reading Harsha's comments. He has been around, and I believe that when he starts talking about stuff, it's always very insightful. He knows the game very well. So Harsha picked up here that Shaheen Afridi is not in his usual rhythm, which is a big warning sign for Pakistan. They need this guy in form. We know what he's capable of. His figures still looked all right, 2 for 25 odd, I think, in 5 overs he bowled. But not quite the same rhythm we've seen from Shaheen Afridi in the past. I don't know if he's maybe a little bit undercooked, or if there's a tiny little injury we don't know of. I guess it might be a little niggle that he picked up, and he didn't look like the Shaheen Afridi that we know. But that big game is coming up, and maybe he's just saving his energy for when it matters most. I know some fast bowlers that have done this in the past. I think of someone like Dale Steyn. At times, it was very frustrating to me, especially as captain. I would go up to him and say, why are you bowling mid-130s when I know you can do mid-140s? And he always just told me, AB, you don't understand. You're not a fast bowler. It's all about timing. It's all about rhythm. When the time is right, I'll fire it up. So very interesting take there. Maybe he's not injured. Maybe he was just trying to find a little bit of rhythm, maybe get back into the swing of things, knowing there's some much bigger games coming up. And also knowing that the game was pretty much in the bag, and maybe he just took it easy. But let's keep a close eye on that, because he's a huge player for Pakistan. And then moving on, thanks there for Asha. Always some insightful stuff. Gurkirat Singh Gill. Babar Azam now is the quickest to 19 ODI hundreds in terms of innings. He's got there in 102 innings. He also has 28 50s. This means he has 47 50-plus scores in 100. Oh, my goodness. Is that correct? Roughly translating to a 50-plus score in 2.1. Oh, no, my goodness. I didn't even know this. It's news to me as well. I pulled it up. I love talking about Babar Azam because I believe he's one of the best players we've ever seen play this game, not just now. Huge rock in that batting lineup of Pakistan. And if India would want to keep Pakistan quiet, so this is the guy to get out. So I think the analysis meetings leading up to this game will there's a lot of time that will be spent on Babar. We know what he can do when he gets going. He keeps that innings together. He's the glue in that batting lineup. I met this guy when he was quite young. I didn't know much of him. I haven't heard much of him at the time, but very quickly realized this guy's here to stay. And I mean, he's heard bowling attacks all around the world in all formats, and just a fantastic player. Pakistan need him in form for the Asia Cup and also for more importantly, I could say, for the World Cup. So this is a very nice build-up for all the teams in the Asia Cup and all the teams around the world to get guys, the big players, in form. And Babar is one of the big players. That is incredible. We'll keep a close eye on his stats over the next few years. And if he keeps going at this pace, I think he's got a case here of maybe having a look at Virat's stats, which is the best ODI stats I've ever seen. So yeah, Babar right up there. Let's move on then to the next one and keep posting those questions, guys. After this, I will be moving on to some discussions with you guys. I'll be scrolling through the questions, so please pop it up there, and we'll be. I actually saw something of some questions about Maritzburg College and Affis. Affis was a school I went to in high school, and very interesting to see some South Africans maybe luring me in because Affis lost to Maritzburg College this year in rugby. So I don't know if Mr. Milan Venter there is just luring me in. We'll have a chat about that soon. So Jay Shah here says, congratulations, Viacom, for winning the BCCI media rights for both linear and digital for the next 5 years. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cockroach in the throat. I went to the farm with the family and I got back with a bit of a flu, but nothing too serious. Anyway, India cricket will continue to grow in both spaces. As after IPL and WPL T20, we extend the partnership BCCI media rights as well. Together, we will continue to capture the imagination of cricket fans. Incredible news. It's huge. I don't know how many of you know this, but I also work for Viacom. I work for them in the IPL, and it's an incredible team. I absolutely love spending time with the people over there. They just got a different mindset about the game of cricket, different way of looking at the game, and be sure that the game will grow when they are around. And it's great news that they got the media rights. So congratulations to Viacom, and I'm looking forward to work for them again. Moving on then to the next one is my favorite, Ravi Ashwin. And we're going to finish off with this one because I thought I'll leave the best for last. But Ravi always picks up on the little things of the game, and I absolutely love that. So he reckons here that Rizwan got run out because he wasn't wearing a helmet. A very interesting take, and it could be true. I do think, however, even though you're wearing a helmet, if the ball's coming in the direction of your head, you're still going to flinch. So a very natural reaction from Rizwan here to sort of take a bit of a go. It depends how important your wicket is to you, To be honest, I was always happy to take the ball in the body. I really never wanted to lose my wicket. But it is a reaction thing here from Rizwan, and unlucky they're getting run out. But yes, Ravi's got a good point. Wear your helmet. In my high school career, put on a cap at times. Never in my international career did I even think of it. And exactly what Ravi says at the end, sweeping without a helmet is just silly. Well, unless you're the best in the world at it. Yunus Khan used to do it. I picked up a lot of sweeping tips from Yunus Khan, and he batted without a helmet against the spin, and he would just keep sweeping. And I would always think, what about a little top edge into your teeth or your nose? I mean, that would not be pleasant. Anyway, wear helmets, people. It's safe. We know there's been some terrible injuries in the past, and we need to keep this game as safe as possible. Alrighty, that brings me to the end of AB Reacts. I will be moving on to the questions column and the comments. There's plenty, so please keep asking your questions, and I will be covering a lot. Send your questions in the live chat box. I see there. So let's kick it off then. Thanks for all the questions, firstly, and we'll be discussing a lot. I want to cover everything, people, so make the questions interesting. I don't just want to talk about South Africa and Australia or just about the Asia Cup. There's lots we can talk about, but let's cover as much as we can. What do you think about Babar ahead of the rivalry Pakistan versus India? Can he take Pakistan over the line? Thanks, Sami. Abdullah. Yes, we just covered a bit of Babar Azam and his form and the glue that he is in that batting lineup of Pakistan. He's absolutely got the ability to take things away from any team in the world, never mind India. But playing India is a big occasion. We all know the rivalry between the two teams, so the juices will be flowing a bit more than usual. Babar's got the ability, but there's an Indian attack that we'll be planning as we speak as to how we're going to get him out. How are we going to unsettle him? Are we going to do the short stuff? Where's his weakness? I don't know. You guys tell me, where's Babar's weakness? I haven't seen any. But India will be trying to find something to unsettle him. Maybe it's a little chat in his ear about the magnitude of the occasion. Maybe this could be the game you're going to get into bad form and remember about the World Cup is around the corner. These are the little things that you have to use against big players like this. And some bowlers used it against me back in the day. Luckily, more often than not, I found a way to not let that unsettle me. And Babar will be trying that. But yes, what a player. And if he scores runs, Pakistan generally ends up in a very good position, more often than not winning the game. Thanks, Hami. Let's move on then from Babar. It's going to be a huge game, and I can't wait to watch that one. The next question then, let me have a look. Virat Kohli, FP. I reckon FP stands for fan page, but nice one there. Who do you think will be the leading run scorer in Asia Cup and World Cup? Oh, that's a tough one, eh? I'm not really sure. There's lots of guys who can do it. You think of all the top order batters. You're not going to see a number 5 or 6 batter getting that award. So we look at guys in form. Babar, I think of Kane Williamson. Obviously, Virat will be up there somewhere along the line. It depends on form, obviously, with all these players. Virat absolutely loves 50-over cricket. You can pull up his stats at some stage and realize it's the best stats around. No one's even come close to him. So he's always there and thereabout. He loves white ball cricket. He's busy at the crease, and his name will be up there, that's for sure. Babar, Kane Williamson, South African players in form, Heinrich Klaasen, possibly. Aiden Markram hasn't had a great run over there in India, but let's see if he can find a bit of form in the series leading up to the World Cup. That could help a lot. And then English players, I think of Joe Root. Obviously, it stands out. I already mentioned Kane Williamson. But there's lots of players. It's difficult to say. My favorites for Asia Cup, definitely Virat and Babar. I haven't seen a lot of the Sri Lankans or other players in incredible form that will score huge hundreds. And that's where Virat and Babar are different. When they get in, when they score runs, they score 130s, 150s. They really knuckle down. So that's the difference. I think we'll see the names up there. And I would be pleasantly surprised to see someone else up there. And please, hopefully one of those players will give Babar and Virat a run for their money. It's a huge game coming up, and I can't wait to watch it. And I'm probably pretty sure you guys will be glued in front of your television screens enjoying that game. And then, okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's have a look. Abhishek Yaraf, how do you see Ben Stokes coming out of retirement? And how much it's going to help England? Brooks out of squad. Yeah, that was a bit of a controversial one, unsettling for some of the English players. They were asked, I saw Josh Butler's comments. He was asked what did he think about Harry Brooks missing out and Ben all of a sudden saying, hold on, I want to play cricket again. Guess what? I did the same thing too. It's something you don't feel bad about. You got to follow your gut feel. Ben Stokes is one of the best cricket players I've ever seen. If he had this gut feel in his heart, they could have said no. He put up his hand and said, guys, you know what? I feel I'm in good form. I feel I've still got the energy for one big World Cup, and let's go and win it. If you want to pick me, I'm here. If you don't want to pick me, no hard feelings. It's in their hands. So they picked him. In my case, they didn't pick me. No hard feelings. It is what it is. All right. So let's move on from that. Ben is an incredible player, and there's no doubt that he's a huge, huge role. He plays a huge, huge role in that England team, both with bat and ball, in the field. His cricket brain, we know all about it. So Ben Stokes, great to see him there. Harry Brook, unfortunately missing out, and I'm sure he'll be back. He's young and he's a great player. All right, thanks, Abhishek, for that. The next one, Ayan, ABD sir. That's what Yusvendra Chahal calls me, ABD sir. I always tell him, please don't call me sir. I'm just Abes or AB or my friend. But anyway, I'll take ABD sir. I appreciate it. I know it's a sign of respect. I'm your biggest fan and I'm very inspired by your batting style and want to also bat like you. Can you please give me tips for taking your stance? Taking your stance is pretty important. Even though I don't think it's the most important thing or even close to the most important thing in batting, you just got to be comfortable, feet more or less shoulder width apart. I changed my stance, my grip, the posture that I would have at the crease right throughout my career. I was never scared of change. The more important things are having your mind very clear, not thinking about too many things, studying the game before you go out to bat, understanding where the areas are that you want to score runs, who the bowlers are, who's the threat, who you're going to get on top of. Those are the things that are really important in batting. And then playing the ball late. I mean, my best knocks in my life, I always felt like I had the chance or time to let the ball come to me. Sorry, one of my youngsters are calling me, yeah? Little girl, she's 2.5 years old and she's got no idea what I'm doing in front of my laptop for this long. Anyway, I'll get to her soon. She wants to go play in the garden, I think. Anyway, those are the important things. My best knocks, I played the ball late. Now, that's not an easy thing to do. Much easier said than done. But if you can have the time to let that ball fly through the air for not a few seconds, for a few meters rather, before you react with your body or your head or your hands or anything, just be completely still. Your brain gets all that information in and you know exactly what to do. But sometimes when you're in bad form, you want to go and hit the ball out of the bowler's hand. The ball hasn't been even released yet and you want to go and hit it. And that's what I mean with playing the ball late. It's not just playing it late, it's almost delaying the process, allowing it to come out of the bowler's hand, let it come, take the information in, and then the body will kick in and say, action time. Thanks for that, Ayan. Appreciate it. Go work hard in your cricket and never give up. All right, moving on to the next one. Yeshwant Raj, thank you very much. Super chat. Nice little tip for me there. Appreciate it. Big fan. Who do you think is an underrated player to watch out in the World Cup? Underrated. It's always tough to talk about underrated players. I don't know, really. Maybe you guys can give me some of the names. I don't underrate players. I always give players the benefit of the doubt until proven wrong. So let's see. Some youngsters, there's some talented youngsters around. I always love watching youngsters come through. They always play with so much flair and they almost don't look like they feel pressure, you know, just like the exuberance of youth. I love watching. So we'll cover that once it starts. I'm not sure who the underrated players are, but maybe you guys can give me some names. I see Sikandar Raza's name comes up. Did I just see Bairstow? Yeah, Bairstow is underrated. There's no doubt about it. And he's a fantastic player in the IPL. He's been very consistent. We've seen him score runs day in and day out. And so Johnny Bairstow is definitely. Sikandar Raza, certainly overrated, both at bat and ball. Fantastic player. So thanks for helping me out here, guys. We'll cover more of that pretty soon. There are two good names that you guys mentioned there. So thanks for that. Litan Das from Bangladesh, good player. Most Bangladesh players are underrated. People don't expect them to beat the big teams, but when they do, everyone gets upset. But it's possible, and we'll most definitely see some upsets in this World Cup again, in this Asia Cup as well. So keep an eye out on that. Let's load up the next question. So long, and there we go. And I'll just see if I can find another name or two. Not really. Love you too. Thanks for that. A lot of love on this channel. I appreciate it, and thanks for joining. Hit the like button, the same old stuff. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to have a lot of fun in the future. We are going to change up a lot of things as well. A lot of people have asked for batting tips. I can't wait to share everything with you guys. We covered a little bit of that in this session, but I love the questions. I love interacting with you guys. Another super chat tip here. Thanks very much, Akela. Sir, you are declined to join RCB camp this year. Is that right? No, I was never asked. I haven't chatted to anyone since Andy Flower's appointment as coach. So for now, I'm just on the sideline. I'll be working as a commentator for Viacom there Geo Cinema, you guys watched a bit of that in last year's IPL. This year's IPL. We're still in 2023. Sorry, I've lost my mind there for a minute. Next year's IPL, I'll be there. But no, I didn't decline anything at all. Last year, there were some chats. I heard from some of the coaching staff and the owners. They wanted to get me involved. I wasn't ready at the time. I'm still possibly not ready. So even if someone had to approach me right now, it would be something really difficult for me to process. I will think about it if approached. But for now, I'm just really still trying to find my feet. Not quite ready to jump onto a team bus yet, if you know what I mean, and wear the team kit and join all the team meetings and all the team practices. Team. That's all I've done my whole career. It's now a little bit of family time, and if I want to go for a 20-kilometer run down the streets because I just want to free my mind, I want to go and do it. So yes, the time and the place will most probably come where I would want to join a team, possibly even giving whatever I know to South Africa as well. I haven't spoken to anyone there either. But I know I hope the time will come. I'll be very fortunate to join a team again one day, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's that for now. Thanks for that question. Father of cricket, Kamran Ashraf, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Anyway, I'm not the father of cricket. I'm not that old yet. I know my beard's getting a little grey, but Virat's beard has been grey for like 5 years. So even though he's younger than me, he's got more grey hair. Vuyo, thank you very much. Hey, AB, what's your take on the trajectory of Zimbabwe cricket in the last 2 years? And also your thoughts on Sikandar Raza as a player. Oh, man, I love Zim cricket. It's our neighbouring country. There's always been a massive friendship. The days of Brendan Taylor, he was still there, and we were really good friends. It was almost, I've played against someone like Brendan Taylor since we were like, I think 9 or 10 years old. So there's a big love between the two teams, big respect. And Zim was under a lot of pressure to qualify. Playing in Zimbabwe, in Harare, Bulawayo, all their home grounds, the home crowds were there. And they were under big pressure, and they came through, which will mean a lot to them. A lot of their big players stood up. Sikandar Raza, Sean Williams. They've got a fantastic team, so many others. And I will be very surprised if they don't upset quite a few teams at the World Cup, possibly even going further. Let's see. I don't know. I love watching them play, as long as they don't beat South Africa. Thanks, Vuyo. I love them cricket, and I really think they're on the up. There's a fresh look in that team. And they're playing like that as well, with a lot of freedom. Very proud of them. Moving on then, Rishian Ramkumar Ganesan. I'm not sure if I pronounced that all right. Rishian, thank you very much for your question, and also the super chat up there. Your thoughts on SA20's impact on SA cricket is massive. I've spoken about this in length before, and Graeme Smith and the team, what they achieved there is really big for South African cricket. I always touch on the youngsters because that's the next generation. That is the future. And so it's really big. The youngsters get the platform, and that's the difference it makes. For me, when I was pretty young, 2008, when the IPL started, all of a sudden I had the platform of an IPL to go and showcase my skills every year. I was lucky to get there. So not everyone is that lucky. The timing for me was perfect. I scored 100 in an ODI in India, and boom, I got an IPL gig. So for a lot of youngsters, they don't have that platform in South Africa. And all of a sudden, there's this home tournament, the big one, and the SA20 is here. There's some big players. There's good money that's being paid to the players, so they don't want to go anywhere else. They want to stay here in their home country and play cricket. And the exposure thereof, it's huge. Being 20 years old and playing against some of the best players in the world, sharing a change room with the likes of Josh Butler, and the list goes on, Jofra Archer, Rashid Khan. I mean, if I was a leg spinner and I had to play in a team with Rashid Khan, I don't know where I would start. There's so much you would want to get out of this guy, and you're only 20 years old, and your whole career's ahead of you. So it's huge with Graeme Smith. I keep mentioning his name because I really think it would not have been possible without Graeme Smith. And what he achieved there is just incredible for South African cricket. And we will see the impact thereof, Rishan, in the near future, I would say 3 to 5 years. So we must not be impatient. It's going to take a bit of time for the tournament to settle and for the real impact to come through. I'd guess even 5 to 10 years, we would turn around and go like, you remember that first year of that tournament when it started here. Look at us now. Look at all the talent. Look at how mature they are at the crease in international cricket, because that's ultimately what it's about. It's prepping your players for the big stage, and that is the international cricket stage. Test cricket, World Cups, ICC trophies all around the world. Those are the stuff you want to win and play well at. And if you prepare your youngsters accordingly, they're going to do well. Thanks for that good question there, and congrats to South African cricket, CSA and Graham Smith, for pulling it off. Okay, then we're moving on. Van der Dussen. I saw that comment now. What a player. He's been incredible for South African cricket. He's the glue in that batting lineup, same as Babar is for Pakistan, and Virat and Kane Williamson. I see Rassie as the glue. He always plays his game. He's very disciplined and a fantastic player who can take the game away from the team towards the back end. But when there's big pressure, when the wickets go down, Van der Dussen is always there to keep things together. I love watching him play, and looking forward to watching him score some runs in this T20 series and also ODI series against Australia. Alrighty, follow me on Facebook, people. Instagram, it's all down there. We're having a lot of fun here. Keep putting your questions in that live chat box, please, and I'll get to as many as possible. I'm scrolling through here. We're throwing some on there, so yeah, keep going. Gunjan, what do you think are the things to improve batting of Nepal cricket? Good question. I don't know a lot of the players, so sorry, I can't comment too much. I will keep an eye on them in the next few games. They didn't have a very joyful start in this tournament, so I'll keep an eye on that moving forward. At the end of the day, the basics stay the same, no matter who you play for, who you are. If you do the basics well as a batsman, you're going to fare pretty well over a long period of time. You'll be consistent. So thanks for that. Sam, Ariel, any suggestions or encouraging words for Nepali players playing in the Asia Cup against India after not such a good start against Pakistan? Yes, I just mentioned that. A bit of a rough start there against Pakistan. I can't remember the exact scores, but I think they got bowled out for just over 100. The Pakistan bowling attack is one of the best bowling attacks in the world. And even for the best teams in the world, it's not easy to play against them. So for the Nepali batting lineup, I would say going against India, another great bowling attack. Just do the basics well. Run well between the wickets. Make sure your head is nice and upright. You have good balance at the crease. You play the ball nice and late. Don't be in a hurry. There's a lot of deliveries. There's a lot of time to catch up. Set the foundation, set the base. And then when the time's right, you'll always get a sniff. As long as you can identify that opening or the opportunity or the weakness, whatever you want to call it, and you run through it. You got to pull the trigger then. So that's it. That's the game. Don't overcomplicate things. Set the base and wait for the right time. Okay, then moving on. Thanks for that, Sam. The SA cricket talent. I've seen this guy's tweets before. I'm not sure where, but anyway, it's nice. I'm not sure what your name is, but Mr. SA cricket talent, thanks for the question. Is there a big difference between number 5 and 6 in ODI cricket? Would it make a difference having Klaasen at 5? Oh, I see what you're saying. And Miller at 6, or the other way around coming up in the World Cup. So that depends. So a lot of batting lineups in the past used the floating method, purely because you want certain players to play certain roles. And those roles are only clear or understood during a game. So it's really difficult to just put a lineup down there. But a lot of coaches also believe you just put your batting lineup up there and you don't change no matter what. So yes, I would say in an ideal scenario, you would always want Heinrich Klaasen to build an innings and you want David Miller to pull the trigger. But the way Heinrich has been batting, he can do anything on the park. So I would say if you had a look at stats and form and the way that Klaasen can build an innings, I think he should be your stock standard number 5. We know what Miller's capable of. He can play any situation. But generally speaking, you want him overs 25 to 50. And he's got more of a chance to do that batting at 6. But yes, Heinrich Klaasen, I would say number 5 needs to be more of a builder, a guy who can come in the 5th over, in the 12th over, in the 25th over, in the 38th over, can play any role, and that's Heinrich Klaasen. Good against spin as well. He's an all-round good cricket player, good against pace and spin, and can play any situation. So I would say 5 and 6, Klaasen, Miller. There we go. Thanks, SA Cricket Talent. Moving on. Sorry, guys, I'm really a bit fluish. You can hear my voice is a bit different than normal. I just feel a bit heavy in the head, especially speaking so much, Abhishek, do you see Brevis in the World Cup team, or South Africa will go with the same team that played against England previously this year? I don't know. It's a good question. I see he's in the squad playing against Australia. It is his opportunity. I don't think he's a certainty in that World Cup squad. So I do think this is an important phase for him. He might have to score a few runs. He looked good the other night. Unfortunately, hitting the ball in a catchable height, which is always dangerous. Didn't really get the elevation he wanted. He's a fantastic player, people. He needs time. So if I was the coach and the selector, I would take a punch on him. That's just my opinion. That happened to me when I was young. I was out of form before the 2007 World Cup. We played against Pakistan at home. Coach Mickey Arthur came up to me and said, "You're going to have to score runs. I think this might be your last game, possibly two. The selectors want you out. You need to back me up here. I want you in the team. You have to score runs." So that was 3 weeks before the World Cup in 2007. Not easy. And I think Brevis is in a very similar position. But I ended up scoring a couple of 50s. So that would be my take. Brevis needs to score a couple of 50s for the selectors to go, we can't leave this guy behind. That's exactly what happened to me. I went to the 2007 World Cup, scored my first 100 there. And the rest was history. I took my opportunity, took my gap under the most severe pressure, being told this is your last game if you don't score runs. Never nice. Anyway, Abhishek, thanks for that. Let's move on there. Let's hope we see Brevis at the World Cup. I would absolutely love that, because what it will mean to him in the future, the exposure and the experience he will gain or pick up from a World Cup now at this age will be monumental when he's 27, 28 eventually. Anyway, Aman, hey AB, how do you deal with failures? You were the best at everything you do, but still couldn't cross that winning line. Doesn't it disappoint you and create self-doubt in your mind? Yes, I'm not sure if you're referring to the World Cup or IPL trophies. Obviously, we all want to win those trophies. At the end of the day, it's always funny to me, people talking about MS Dhoni won the World Cup. Ben Stokes won it's not an individual game, people. It's a team game. South Africa lost the World Cup on a few occasions. I was part of that team. I did my absolute best, and it wasn't meant to be. Yes, it's very sad. I was in tears at the 2015 World Cup. We were so close. So very disappointing, very, very sad, heartbroken. It is what it is. It's part of life. I've spoken about something similar before. Life is a roller coaster ride. You can't always be up there. Imagine how boring it would be if every day was just like the best day ever. You score 100 every single game. You win every single game you play. What's sport about then? Why would you want to follow sport even? Sport is all about the fact that people can relate to sport, the roller coaster ride thereof. Some days you feel bad. You have a blocked nose like me, and I feel like I'm not in the mood to gym now, but I'm going to push myself in anyway. I just don't want to interact with people today, or I don't want to drive to Joburg for work and do some shoot that I have to do or some meeting that I have to. But sometimes you just don't feel like things, and sometimes you feel like you're on top of the world. You look in the mirror and you go like, oh, I'm feeling handsome today. What's happening? Look at my eyes. I've got the smile going. I've got the energy, and you just feel great. And that's what sport is like. You're up there, you score 100, and then it humbles you. You get a duck, or you lose in the semifinals of the World Cup in New Zealand after dropping a few catches. There was rain. It all went wrong, and you got to sit there and go like, okay, I don't know what just happened here. I feel sad. I feel emotional. But that's life, people. It is what it is. I had the most amazing career. I was very privileged to play cricket. I'm very blessed by the big man with 2 arms and 2 legs, and the fact that I've got a fan base and people to interact with and talk about life and cricket is a massive privilege. So there's the winning, It's not just the failures. Luckily, there's some good stuff as well. And I had a lot of that in my career, a lot of great memories. Thanks, Aman. I hope I answered your question. There's always self-doubt. There's always fear. It's part of life, which is a nice thing to hear, I'd say, because people sometimes look at sports people and go like, you know what? They can't do anything wrong. They don't feel self-doubt. They're not sad sometimes. Of course we are. We're human. Sorry, Aman. Let's move on to that next question then. Thanks for that one. It's a bit of a deep one. I even got a lump in my throat here. Praveen, thanks for the super chat tip there. Hello, ABD, sir. Super fan of yours. from Uttarakhand. In future, can we see your participation in any tournament like road safety or any other? I think you are still young to beat some young players. Thanks very much for that, Praveen. Great question. I'm part of the Make a Difference Foundation, organization, whatever you want to call it. If you haven't heard of it, look it up. MAD, Make a Difference. It's a charitable organization over there in India. I've got some big plans. We are currently discussing being part of some house building project where I would want to get my hands dirty and help build a house for underprivileged people who can't afford a house. But then I would also want to do some sort of a campaign where I move through the streets of India, possibly doing a run or a bicycle ride for quite a few days, like 5 days, maybe doing, I don't know, I'm just throwing numbers out here, like 100 kilometers a day on a bike from town to town, or I'll plot and plan it out. I want to invite you guys to join me to do that. That will come hopefully next year. We're still planning that phase, and everything will be for raising funds for Make a Difference charity. You do incredible work in India. So yes, road safety, we could possibly add that into this whole thing that I want to do. I'm not exactly sure who to contact or what to do. Indian tourism, I'll maybe find the right contact and do a nice partnership where we just do good. That's all I want to do. India's been great to me in my career, and I want to be great to them. That's all I can, that's the least I can do, is give back, possibly building a cricket field in some cities or towns. That's my ultimate, that's what I believe I'm doing here on earth, is to serve other people. I think that's everyone's responsibility, is to look around you and make the world a better place. And that can be something really small. You can plant a tree somewhere. You can give someone a bottle of water when he looks thirsty. You can build a house. You can raise funds and give it to underprivileged children. Whatever the case may be, I think ultimately, when I'm done here on earth, I want to look back and go, you know what? I made other people's lives better, and I'm leaving this world in a better state. And there's this quote from Emerson, and he talks about that, and it's the most incredible quote I've ever heard in my life, and it really talks to my heart. And I don't get it right every day, similar to that question from before, where you have good days, you have bad days. I can't every single day go out there and just be the best and change people's lives. Let's go. It's impossible. I'm human. But the dream is there, and the desire is there to want to make the world a better place. So to leave this earth and look back and go, okay, we had some bad days, but we had some pretty awesome days too. Thanks, Praveen. Great question there. Let's move on then to the next one. There's plenty of questions, guys. I think we're coming to an end. My throat is dry. And yeah, thank you very much, Siddhan Patil. Love you, AB. I love you too, man. I'm not sure if you're a man or a girl, but whatever you are, there's a lot of love from my side too. Thanks for the tip there. Let's call, I think, the last few questions. I'm not going to say the last one or two or three, but we're nearing an end. My throat is dry. I'm a little bit sick, so please bear with me. We'll cover a bit more in the next session we do. Charan, will you be coming to the World Cup 2023 in India? Yes, I will be coming over. I'll be watching a couple of games live there and also doing a bit of work, also meeting up with my Make a Difference friends and doing some good things over there in India. I'm only coming over for 7 or 8 days. I'll be at a live game or two, and I absolutely can't wait. There's something about a World Cup that just really gets the blood flowing a bit more than usual, and it's no different. I'm not even playing. I'm not really part of the whole World Cup in any way, except for that week or 10 days that I'm going to spend there. But I even have butterflies thinking like, oh my goodness, it's another World Cup 2023. Who's going to win it? Is South Africa going to make the knockouts? Are we not? What's going to happen? There's so many different teams that can win it. India are the favorites, I would say, but they're playing in India. The last time they played in India, they won it. So many thoughts that go through my head, and I know the players are thinking about this every single night leading up to this World Cup. It's a big one. It's what we dream about growing up as youngsters, is you want to be there in the big tournaments, in the big games, not just the World Cups, but the World Cup is certainly one of the most special ones. And you dream about making that final. I always have this dream, standing in the covers. There's a left-hand batter. He hits it to the covers, and they need about 3 to win. Off the last ball, I make an incredible stop. I run to the stumps. I take the bails off, and we've won the World Cup. It's always been my dream. I honestly visioned this. I had the vision of that. The problem maybe was that I didn't put myself in the covers when Grant Elliott hit that 6 in the 2015 World Cup. That was where we went wrong. Anyway, that's the big one. It's the World Cup, and the players will be playing to win it. I would say India's are favorites. But anything can happen. We've seen some crazy things happen in World Cups. And yes, this one will be no different. There will be upsets. There will be some good cricket. And we're looking forward to that. Alrighty, last couple of questions. Sheikh Suwaid, Babar Azam said his role model is you. He follows you from when you started your career, your views. Yeah, it's very special. We had this interaction I think it was in Dubai, when he met me for the first time in the PSL. And he just, it was very special to see, because at that time I knew he was going to be a great. And he sort of, he stood in front of me as a fan. And I was like, hey, relax. I'm also just human, just like you. You're going to be a great one day. I've watched you play and you are incredible. And we shared some nice thoughts about the game, said some nice stuff to him, which I feel or believe he appreciated. I have a lot of respect for him. I love the way he plays the game, the calm manner and that he plays the game as well. It's very similar to Hashim Amla. Always very calm at the crease, always looks in control, never flustered. He loves the big moments. He loves the pressure. And I have a lot of respect for him. And thanks, Babar, for following me as well and keeping a close eye on my technique throughout the years. I hope it's worked for you as well. It looks like something has worked. I'm not sure if it's got anything to do with me either. Anyway, Babar, what a great player. And thanks, Sheikh, for that question. Final question then, people. And thanks again for all your interaction. Thanks for joining me. I see so many questions. It's impossible to cover all of it. And thanks for all the tips and just everything. You guys are amazing. Thanks for the love. I really appreciate it. Final question then, Malan Venter. I knew this was going to come up. Who do you think would win between Office and Maritzburg College? Office, okay? If you're talking cricket, I would say we've had the upper hand. Well, certainly when I was there in the last while. Before then, I'd say most English schools like Maritzburg College, Pretoria Boys High, Hilton, Cares, St. John's, you name it, there's plenty. They had the upper hand against the Afrikaans-speaking schools, if you want to say it like that. Office is known as Afrikaans-speaking school. I went there, and we were not known for our cricket, but things turned around in that phase, and we started dominating. So let's say Office still have the upper hand in cricket, but unfortunately, and I have to mention this, Office lost to Maritzburg College in rugby this year. So yes, keeping my head down on that one. I know you guys will be throwing your hats in the air. Milan, I don't know if you are a Maritzburg boy, but congratulations with that win. You guys were too good this year. I see you've got quite a good team this year, so all the best with whatever is coming up. If you are still at school or you're, I don't know, if you are a post Maritzburg boy or what the story is, an old boy. Anyway, thanks for that question. Office still the best school in the country. Thank you very much. That's my channel. Guys, I think that brings us to the end. I honestly really want to answer so many more questions, but I want to thank you for the interaction. Remember to subscribe to the channel. There's some really exciting stuff coming in the future. I also want to talk about, I don't know if you can see, let me lift this up a bit for you guys. There's a little 360 bat there. I'll introduce that to you pretty soon. We're working on something really cool. Working on batting tips for you guys. Anything you guys want to hear. And tell me what you enjoy. If you enjoy these live sessions more, the more structured one that I do. I want to hear your thoughts, the things you enjoy of the show and the things you don't enjoy as much. I'm pretty sure when I'm at the World Cup, we'll be doing a session there as well. I think a live session would be cool over there, so we can really just sort of cover everything that's happened in the World Cup until that point, but we'll get there. But anyway, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook to get all the updates. I think if you hit the notification button, you'll also get notified when I do live streams or when I get a session out there on the 360 show. Thank you very much for joining me on the 360 Live. I think we'll call this one 360 Live and the other one the 360 Show. And there'll always be AB React. I love going through tweets and hearing everyone's thoughts. So maybe I'll get some of your comments on X. I don't know what to call tweets or X's or I don't know. Anyway, that brings us to the end of 360 Live. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll keep you updated for the next session. Thanks for all the love.